Press the bell icon to never miss a video from testbook.com.
Jai Hind guys, welcome you on testbook.com and I Nitin Mishra, your English educator, and you are listening to me on this radio class 8. And guys, as we all have been experiencing that what actually the objective of the session is, then I believe the objective of the session is to identify whether the grammatical approach, contextual approach and the way we are doing is really working or not. So I can see comments of Vaishnavi Bhatt, Jyoti Srivastav, Shyam, Gupta, Sachin, Vaishnavi, Vipin, Kumar Shanu. So I believe it is time to start the session. It is time to talk about something which is really working in this time of preparation. So when I was given a list of basic foreign words, especially in English in case of mine, to learn the meaning of those words in school, it was always unclear for me how to actually do this. Similarly, as you are facing problems I have faced in my life. And Sachin, Gandhi, thank you, Kanaya, love you too. So guys, I was just trying to share my story today and I just want to share that how I did. I probably believe that you will definitely enjoy this particular story. Sachin Gandhi Yadav is saying, full name sir, my full name is Nitin Mishra and I am not the terrorist. So where I was in my school time and it was a time when I believe I was given a list of words to learn the meaning in my school time, and it was always really very unclear how to actually do this. Nobody ever taught me so much about how to learn things. They just told me what to learn and what not. Since other students were doing much better than me, I logically thought that they were simply smarter than I am. And I believe at that time that they must look at the word once and then it is magically burnt into their mind forever. This is a very comfortable and defist inclusion most people make when they aren't making much progress in language. And I believe that you all are at the same situation. And at that moment it was really very comfortable conclusion most people make when they aren't making much progress with the language or generally have a weak memory, and it is because of an amazing memory that other person was blessed with at birth. Satyarthi Prakash Rai is asking that what is the topic. Actually today I just wanted to add up one important irony that how do successful people do, especially in terms of language. I'm sharing my own story that how I did, and somehow I'm talking and making a context of how to learn vocabulary. Yeah, of course I will not going to deal words today, but obviously you will be having some content, some podcasts, audio podcast to hear for 20 or 25 minutes long, so that you will and you can improve your listening skill, and definitely it will also improve your understanding, interpretation of English language, and obviously it will be a fantastic way to prepare without investing so much effort. And there is nothing much to do, just keep practicing, and I believe one day you all will be successful. And yeah, we already have received so many results from the students जिन्होंने मेहनत की है, they had got the success in their life. So I believe that it is time to share the reason why it happened. So it is because of amazing memory that other person was blessed with at birth, but I just was not. And I never occurs to me, it never happened to me that maybe all we need to do is change our learning method. And I was at the stage where I was required to change my learning, my own learning method, because every student is different, every student is unique, and he should have his own unique methods of learning. And the objective can be drawn from here that you may probably after this class can identify, develop, or at least can take an initiative to find your own way of learning. And Vaishnavi Bhatt is asking, so I told you my problem, so please guide me for grammar. And Vaishnavi, for grammar, it is nothing really very important you to learn, remember, mug up all the rules. If you go by context, if you go by reading, listening and writing, I believe 80% of your problem can easily be solved, because language can be simplified only by using it. If you are not using a language, I believe you are wasting your time, your effort, your energy, your money. So the very irony of learning a language is very simple. You must involve yourself into how to use the words, use grammar. So try to observe. The more you observe, the better you will form or make structure of a statement. And now I believe it's time, because Sachin Gandhi has said one thing, that my brother was rejected due to lack of I believe communication skill. So don't worry Sachin, it happens. And in India we have first language as regional language, it may be Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, but English always come on the secondary part. English for us is a second language, so obviously we find it difficult. And when you face interview examination of any competitive aptitude test, so at that point of time it is really it plays a very phenomenal role for your life, for your selection. And if I share my story, that how I did, how I changed, because it was the time when I realized that I should change my method of learning, because the current learning of school, where the teacher was just forcing me to remember words, remember grammatical rules, was not working for me. It may be working for various students, various of my classmates, but not for me. Because I was not the student who really believe in learning, remembering, mugging rules. I was a practical guy. I have learnt everything by experimenting, experiencing, involving human experience into language. And Shivam Sharma is saying, sir, how we can learn phrasal verb and idiom phrases. First of all, Shivam, your query is a genuine query, but I am tired of obviously answering the same question. To learn phrasal verb, to learn idiom phrases, you just need to know one thing, that language cannot go human with beyond human experience. And if you really are eager to learn something very genuine, something very important, and something very practical, you must see that language is nothing but collection of human emotions. And whatever human experience into his or her life, he communicate it using some words, and that forms a language. So a language is always covered by human experience. So try to find the human experience, try to involve human experience into a language. Whatever you want to say, first try to do this. If you will do and you see, observe yourself doing that, language automatically will generate from your mind. Until and unless you will not think language coming from your own self, it is really very difficult for you to understand or speak some language which is not actually yours. And Yashashvi says that rules रटने से कुछ नहीं होता. Obviously you are right, but actually हम सबको पता होता है कि सही क्या है, but फिर भी हम जानबूझ करके अनजान बने रहते हैं. And I believe it is time to go towards the session, because the session that we are having today is somehow collection of my experience, how I did, what problems I really faced. And if it is about answer of Rasmi Ranjan's question that sir how I will obviously Bhanu Pratap Dev has asked me, so how I improve pronunciation. So Bhanu, there is a very simple technique, but it involves your much of effort, concentration, attention, and if you will give it, obviously you will be the best in your own pronunciation. Actually, the problem with the pronunciation is that we never listen to the actual pronunciation of the word. We just go by our prediction. We see the set of alphabets and we start pronouncing it. I believe the easy way to learn the correct pronunciation is to having a bit knowledge of phonetics, and better for a student is कि वो Google करे and hear the pronunciation of the word that are new, and listening a good news channel, listening to someone who is a good speaker. I believe that कि आप सभी एक अच्छे speaker को ज़रूर सुने and try to have an experience in English, like if you are watching movie, TV channels, you can surf in English. And it's time to go towards the problem statement of today's class, and the problem statement is what actually happened to me. It happens with me that the wrong way to learn words. So how was I learning is the question. In my school days, I was learning. I used to classic repeat method where the word list has been provided and I have to go through all the words, learn all the words, and this is how actually I started in my school days. For example, if I wanted to learn that the English word or any word, basically what it means, then I was told in my childhood to pronounce it, to sound it loudly, and it automatically comes in my mind and occupies all the time. But technically, after this mind numbingly dull exercise, I may indeed recognize the word, but when I read, I believe that I find a lot of people who have studied a language enough to say that they have no trouble recognizing a word. So when a student started in his school days, his techniques are different, and when a graduate start a word, in his communication, in his learning, his methods are different. So I was just in the mid of finding the way how actually a student should learn. And to answer this question, I believe it was something that why they have no trouble recognizing the word when they hear or when they read them. So I concluded in such a way that it is nothing the meaning, it is the context, because human mind loves context. Human mind find and love to hear something in context, not as individual word. Mind requires a good start, a story, a drama, and then a fine finish. Only then he can understand, mind can understand what actually the meaning of the word is. So, here we can see that the context is the key to success, and Nitish Sharma is saying that English movie and news channel are the way. Yes, you are right. And definitely the method is obviously extremely boring. When you are taking up a word in a list, you are remembering it, the method, the technique you are using is obviously extremely boring, but more importantly it is very inefficient. I haven't find any guy who has scored high if he has mugged up or remembered the word with the word to word technique or sounding technique. What I have observed, people who loves language, basically they loves context. They talk in terms of context, they understand in terms of context, and this is how basically they do. A typical language has hundreds of thousands or even millions of words. So this is another reason people may think that you do indeed have to be in a genius to learn all of them, but actually not. And I can say that here we have several comments, and Nitish Sharma is saying that previous podcast की playlist available नहीं है, not at all. We'll look into this. Rashmi Ranjan says, I think always English but मैं बोल नहीं पाता. Okay, you think in English but you cannot speak. I believe you are on the mid of the progress. आप इसी को continue करो and one day you will definitely see a change in you. And Kanhaiya is asking, should I read the Hindu? Yes, definitely, but not mandatorily, because the logic behind choosing Hindu as a newspaper is that it involves a good vocabulary, a good grammatical structure, business language, so it might make you a bit formal in terms of communication, in terms of vocabulary. But if you are reading a newspaper daily, it's okay, you are doing good, you are doing fine. And Yashasvi agrees that yes, Hindu newspaper definitely help her, so it helps many a student. And I probably thank to the editors that yeah, they are not doing better in terms of only providing news to the public, but somehow they are making them a good learner, and somehow they are focusing and emphasizing the importance of English as a global language. And when we talk about how basically the millions of words can be remembered, I believe it would take years for them to eventually sink in your current method, because if you will remember each of the word, it is quite impossible to learn millions of words in a language. So, I believe what could be the right way is to be the next conversation, because the way we were discussing Ratta Maar Tarika, that was absolutely inefficient way it was. So, let's talk about what is the right way. And I believe that to answer what exactly the right way, learning the words, remembering the words for life is imagination. As I say, involve human experience, start visualizing the word, its uses, its context, its imagination will make you understand the exact meaning in the context of the statement where you have used the statement. And as Mrinalini has asked, how can I improve our speaking skill? I believe speaking is the way. Nothing but speaking is the way. From the first day, start speaking. There is no any other way. If you are facing any trouble, let's fix it, but start speaking from the first day. And when we talk about the right way, that is imagination, using the imagination to learn a language, it I believe is especially in the today's era where we want to share the practicality how a language is basically drawn from the context. Vaishnavi Bhatt is asking, I can speak English but my grammatical and pronunciation is wrong. See, when you think of grammatical errors, that means in terms of structural, in terms of parallelism, in terms of serving the words into any idea, in terms of sieving the words into an idea is the key problem. So if you are reading something good, if you are reading something in a bulk, the more content you will read, the better your sentence formation will become. And speaking is totally based on sentence formation skill. The fast you try, the better you will be. So I believe if I share my hurdle, that what I felt, so in today era I wanted to share the way that I currently learn words. If you have your own interesting way, I believe आपको भी मौका मिलेगा and आप यहाँ पर अपने interesting तरीके को share भी कर सकते हैं. And if it comes to me that how I did, I naturally have a poor memory, and as you all know, I forget things. आप सभी जानते हैं. And this is the main reason that I tried to identify any other method than the learning words, remembering words and mugging it up, because I knew this, if I started remembering the words, I will forget it, as I have a very poor memory. And that is how in the school era I was feeling very nervous, because the classmates, the fellows were performing better than me. And not come up with the problem myself. So I am sure some readers apply these methods already, and I have discovered how people learn things in a way that is efficient. And because there is a problem, there is a way, and the problem came in front of me that I have a poor memory, and I started to identify the way that suits me, that suits my attitude. And basically the way was, what I discovered, it was including fun into the language. Schools are great for teaching you facts. If it comes to learn facts, school are the best thing. Similarly, rules are there. For you aspirant, if you are learning rules, something you are learning, nothing is but fact. So by rule, what you are getting? You are getting the facts of the language. But fact is not the essential thing that is always being used in a practical way. So at that moment I wished for more would teach you learning methods, and the obvious problem with my repetition method mentioned, what I told earlier, is that there is no actual association. You will have to somehow repeat the words, but you cannot associate this with the other. Even if you repeat the pair to yourself a million times, you are still not actually linking to the words together. Just trying to force them to match in your mind. Even other methods of using the word in as many examples possible are still relying on something to just medically click in your mind to put these words together. So what I concluded, the repeating method is not beneficial at all, because linking the words, putting the example is not existing there, so we cannot rely on that method. And here, if you ask my suggestion, I can suggest you that you all need to do is create a very amusing, animated, unforgettable image in your mind that links both the words to each other. So this is what I have tried, and I want you all to try. Whenever you find a word difficult for you to understand, difficult for you to remember, try to use a linking method. Push your imagination and try to create a very amusing, animated, unforgettable image in your mind that links both words to each other. This means that if you are translating either 2 or from the target language, maybe Hindi to English or Hindi to English or English to Hindi, whatever, you will access the other word just as easily as you are getting the first one. And this is especially important when the words look nothing alike. Similarly, to demonstrate that, I mean that here we have nothing but association method. So when you have a word in any language, try to associate with the picturization, with imagination, and that will make a quick link. And here I have several comments. Mr. Virgin says, confidence is the one thing that plays crucial role in learning language. Obviously, Mr. Virgin, you are right. And what kind of confidence? The kind of confidence of taking risk. If I speak something wrong, then don't hesitate in that. Okay, if I am wrong, I'll correct it. Mudda hai, if you are doing something wrong, that is not the problem. After identifying the problem, if you are not making a cure for that, this is the real problem for you guys. And I believe it is time to say something. What are the methods that we can see to improve, to make a good learning, make out a good learning out of the all procedure. So as I read the comment जो कि one of the students of our live class has answered कि improving English language requires one practice, that is talk to yourself whenever possible. So I appreciate his comments because I have read his comments with a great intention, and I find it that he has said something very beneficial to all. So if you are getting something good, accept it. So I appreciate his concern that people who want to learn a new language do not know the new words and they don't have any idea as to how to fill the gaps in between. Whenever a person wants to learn a new language, then he should continuously talk to himself about various things like what he likes or what he wants to be and so on. So by doing this, he will or she will be able to understand the areas where he is lacking and he can make a necessary corrections. So I believe now you can say that among you, there are several students who know how to do and who know how successful people has done in their life. So I probably want to learn that what are the ways. The second, I would suggest you that write down all the points which you want to remember, because writing the context can help you to remember it for a long time. And it will also make you learn how the grammatical usage should be there, how to pronunciate, because pronunciation simply depend upon the conjugation, the combination of the prefixes, combination of the alphabet. So if you write, you will be having a good spelling observation, and that will make you a good speaker in terms of pronunciation. And similarly, I believe it would be one of the best way to memorize things is to make a list of all the things that a person wants to remember. Always keep a book, and whenever there are words which need to be remembered, then list them and make use of them whenever required. By maintaining the list, the person can have his own pocket dictionary and he can carry it whenever he wants to. So Kiran Sisodia says, I can think fluently in English, but I cannot speak fluently in front of everyone because you don't have, I believe, enough confidence, because you didn't invest in writing, in speaking and listening. So try to understand the psychology. You have several input devices. This is eyes, ears, and try to take inputs from them. Try to read the context, try to listen the audios. Through this, you will be having some inputs of the language into your mind, into your body, into your soul. And after getting the inputs, you can try to make process and output of the language. First, listen to the authors, process it, then speak about the same. I believe through this activity one can learn faster than usual. And if you have the grammatical errors, so guys, be practical, because if we keep on blaming ourselves, if we keep on blaming rules that sir these are the problems, I guess we are on a wrong track. Remember how you learn riding bicycle. Remember how you learn flying kites. Remember how you learn anything that you are doing now and couldn't have done in the past. I believe the answer is observation. Until you observe other people doing the same thing, you really hesitate doing, because we just want how other has been doing. And you can apply this method into your learning as well. What can you try? See how other people are doing. If you have a good speaker like Shashi Tharoor, try to listen, observe, analyze, hear his words. Shashi Tharoor is the best source for us to learn English language. I believe that we are very pleased to have a good speaker in our country. So what can you try? You can see him speaking, you can experience him speaking, read his quotes and try to understand how he is doing this. And the idea is very simple. Whatever you are listening, try to speak it out. Whatever you are watching, try to speak it out. And this is how you can be a fantastic speaker by your own in a short span of time. And I believe if you focus on writing down the points as we discussed, it would add the fuel to the fire. And try to read as much as possible. If a person gets into the habit of reading, then a person is exposed to new words, and always make it a habit to underline the new words, refer them in the context section and try to understand their meaning by doing this. You will remember the words and will able to make its correct usage. So reading, writing and somehow maintaining a practice will lead to success. And here we have several comments by Dolly asking for which book is good for practicing English. If you are practicing English, I believe online contents are sufficient. Here we have several enormous number of materials. So online material are very accessible for us, I believe. Yashashvi Gupta is saying in front of mirror, yeah, you are right, you can talk to yourself. And every time when I go in speaking, I get stuck because continuation is somehow lacking. If you remember the live radio class that I have taken on how to pronounce word, जहाँ पर मैंने आपको वो birds वाली story सुनाई थी. So that idea can help you out, because if you want to become fluent, what you need is, I believe, connection between two words. Until you do this, you cannot be fluent, you will be stuck somehow. So try to speak in a way that can create a kind of connection, links between two words, between two statements, similarly between two ideas. As soon as you start making synthesis of the statement, as soon as you will learn how to join two sentences together and treat it as one, you will become the fastest speaker. Speaking skill involve only three things. First, you must have the idea. Second, you must know how to conjunct those ideas together. And the third, how to sound those statements. So these three things will make you a good, fantastic listener and speaker as well. I believe this is how basically we do. I am feeling very happy today that today I attended most of the queries, because I felt very connective today and it was nice making a conversation with you all. Dolly, Jyoti, Yashasvi, Kiran, Vaishnavi, Shyam and Mind Dreams. Trust me, I am happy to have a good conversation with you all. It is Rashmi here. And then we have Mr. Virgin, Shashikant, Priyanka and Kiran Sisodia, Srikant and Mirlanini. So Manik bhi hai yahan par. So guys, it was really very nice talking to you all, and I believe you have the same sentiments for the class. And if you have any doubt, kindly feel free to write me on nitin.mishra@testbook.com. So have a fantastic academic journey, do well in the examination, work harder, prepare harder, and take us as your academic friend so that you will not hesitate contacting us. So let us know if you have any query. Write your sweet comments in the comment box, and don't forget to subscribe the channel if you have not done yet. I'm Nitin Mishra and this is testbook.com, and I will see you in the next class. Thank you guys. Jai Hind.